Nice.
What about yourself?
For me, I would have to say that my eyes opened probably after 9/11, because it really, the whole aspect of
a building
why
falling?
somebody would, exactly. I mean, and I had hurt my back and I was off work for a year, and I did nothing but watch videos and read, and I mean, I started to think more to myself, man, how fucking stupid do you think I am to believe this shit? I mean, and then it orientated from there. You know, I got introduced to Ron Paul, and it would have been 2006 by watching some of his YouTube videos, and I was like, man, this guy got it going on, and then he really sparked my interest.
And he was Republican.
He's the old-fashioned Republican, though.
Yeah, no, I like his style.
But it was more of the libertarian. Let's all live together, coincide. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, black, white, Mexican, poor,
exactly,
you know, whatever it may be.
Great agenda.
And I mean, humanity, I think, coexists, you know, as a good thing. But like I said, there is evil, and nothing. I don't know. I'm babbling now.
Word up.
But no. I mean, I just find it amazing because I do live in Iowa. It's, you know, a smaller town and everything, but I always reach out for people around here, and they have the old conservative mindset that, you know, being gay is wrong. Why is it wrong? I mean, you can have the opinion that it's wrong, but at the same time, you don't have to look down on somebody because, you know, maybe that's not what you.
Because they're different, yeah.
Same goes.
Exactly.
Same goes when I'm at work. You know, I see people that are just, you can tell, like, they haven't had the experience. I was once at an age where I couldn't think for myself. I just went with the flow with my buddies, and I made some stupid decisions. But, you know, we have to understand these people, know that we've been at that point, and that we have to enlighten them to that, hey, you know, there's other outlets out there other than what you've been taught. You know, has it ever occurred to you that your whole life you've been lied to, like myself, you know? And that's
yes, that was one of the things I was going to say. I mean, you know, you wake up, whether it be the TV, the radio, whatever it may be. I mean, I just constantly feel like I'm being lied to about everything.
Me too, brother.
Whether it be my water bill, man, I don't know. You know, it's like I could trust the thief because I know that they're going to steal from me, but I can't trust the liars because I know they're going to lie to me. So, yeah. Man.
Marcus, where you at? You falling asleep, Marcus?
Oh, no, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm just listening to you guys, taking it all in.
How did you, he asked the question, we all answered except for you.
Well, I mean, you know, for me it was, you know, it was a little bit of 9/11, and you know, the police state and stuff like that never really, you know, excited me because, you know, I grew up in the inner city in the urban communities, and it's already a police state in such
you're already
areas
used
like
to the
that.
brutality.
You know, so it's not, you know, that's why my opinion of the police is not really high, because I, you know, pretty much been beat up by a few police. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
So, you know, for me, my big change was trying to find out who I was. You know, who I was as a black guy. You know what I mean? As an African American. You know, and then that just took me to a history lesson that, you know, about Africa and, you know, the dawn of civilization, and even more so the things that were kept hidden from me in my education, the things that are not, you know, because here in America you're taught Western, you're taught Euro education. You know, you're taught about the founding fathers, who most of them probably owned slaves. You know, so they weren't really my founding fathers. You know what I mean?
Well, I like to say,
you know, and
go ahead.
And, you know, that's what, you know, I'm all about freedom and liberty. But then when you get to the gun control debate and the Second Amendment, you know, all of these things were put into perspective when you put the racial connotations that this country was founded on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I like to back up the founding fathers by saying really quickly that, you know, back then slavery was perfectly okay because of what all the slaves that were shipped over. So the founding fathers started to develop this idea that, hey, every man should be equal. We don't need the oppressor anymore. Even though slaves were around, they set the pathway to free them because of the fact that they were so down to earth, probably high as fuck, and they set the Constitution down saying that every man deserves the same privileges by God. Therefore, the blacks were able to eventually use that same theory to make them free. And you keep saying it's an illusion, but dude, you guys were, I mean, not you guys, African Americans were in chains.
But you got to think about my perspective of it. You know what I mean? When the Constitution was written, slavery was in practice. The Constitution was not written for Black America. It was amended later. The Constitution was written for white America.
Right.
And that's why all the Indians had to die in this country to bring in liberty for white people, not Indians and everybody else.
That's real talk.
It was just for white people.
Real talk.
And that's what people don't understand. That's what I was saying about the Second Amendment. It's the game is slanted. You know, you got the high school to prison pipeline that all the the Latino and the black kids are funded straight to the prison system, and so then they can't vote, and then they can't own a gun, they can't exercise their Second Amendment right. Because racism still runs this country. You know, well, like KRS-One said, where did all those hoods go? Where did all the people who maintained all those white hoods? Where are those? You know, those hoods had patches on them. They had to be dry cleaned.
Damn.
You know, where did you think those? You think they just burned all that stuff? No, no. When the hoods come off, they go back to being congressmen and policemen and politicians and presidents and everything else. You know what I mean? And that's the big division in this country, is that white people don't want to recognize that racism is still a part of their culture.
Scooter, jump in.
I know that. You know what? I have a lot of white friends. Wait. Let me speak. I have many white friends, and none of them are racist. But they don't want to own up to the fact that it's still racist elements running this country and controlling the world. Because nobody wants to talk about white supremacy as a control system. But you know that's a little deeper. You know, if you guys want to get into that, then some feelings might be hurt, and some education. No. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's listen to a white man.
We can't. No, it ain't even about blaming the white man, because, like I said, you know what? Slavery was never ended; it was extended to include everybody. So we're all slaves now. We're all tax slaves. But what I'm saying is that the whole imperialist America is manifest destiny.
Correct.
Do you fellas know what manifest destiny is?
I do, Marcus. I do.
I don't.
It is the spread. It's the spread of democracy to all of these brown-colored nations, all of these nations.
Yep.
I mean, white folks don't want to admit it, but white folks is in decline. They don't want to admit that they only make up 1/10 of the population on this planet, but yet people of color are called minorities. Now, it's like a psychological block that normal, regular white folks have allowed a cognitive dissonance that put into their minds that don't let them see these things.
Let me touch on a topic real quick about that, because, the racism, prejudice exists. Let's just be realistic. But one point I want to touch on is there was this guy, his name was, I don't know his last name, but his name was Jose. And Jose,
I'm Jose.
And Jose here was writing up his resume and applying to jobs through Craigslist, which I've done often. I'm sure a lot of people have. And it's funny, he gets no replies, nothing back. So what he does is his name is Jose. He drops a letter, which is S, and makes it Joe. And same resume, sends it to the same exact location.
Come on.
And they call him. I swear, this shit made the news.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
I've heard about it.
Based on a name.
Hey, but hold on a second. I am a white person, and I will say that I am racist. I hate everybody equally. But I'll also say that, one thing that I don't know, maybe you have read and stuff, because I've investigated into it, is, the slaves were also, black people sold slaves, of their own kind. That was a huge gap there, but there's also a reverse racism.
Good point.
Try being a white person going into a group of black people. And
you know what? But see, that's where you guys missed the step about white supremacy. The old bloodlines like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, those are the real racists. Those are the people that control education.
Yeah.
They control who get the loans. They control who get these things. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just the regular, it's not you, it's not, my friends. None of these people are racist. It's the old elite bloodlines that have held control over the currency and education for hundreds of years.
It's the people that make the laws.
It's the people that make the laws. I mean, look, it's just a thing where, white supremacy enslaves white people. I mean, that's another thing they don't teach you in school. White people were slaves. They don't teach you that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But because we have a system of racism, white supremacy, all you're going to see on the media is negative depictions of black people and all the positive depictions of white people. That's why most of the nominees that get awards for the movies, they get awards for slave movies and Butler movies, and
I brought that up.
While the white guys are Thor and Captain America, and I mean you can't really deny it if you sit back and really think about it.
Yeah,
so
I brought that up on the last podcast. Actually, exactly what you're saying. I brought it up, and actually one point I want to get on. I don't mean to cut you off, but one point I want to make before I forget about it was when Ferguson went down with the shooting. The picture that they used to depict Michael Brown, he looked kind of like a thug, whereas the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting, they show this guy who's a fucking lunatic in like his graduation prom type picture, so it's the media.
And you know what? The same thing with Trayvon Martin. Yeah, he may have been going out to buy Skittles to make him some pimp juice. You know what I'm saying? He might have been doing that, but you got to look at the roots of the dysfunction. Yeah. I mean, you mean to tell me that withholding reading and writing and education for 400 plus years from a particular group of people is not going to systematically damage that people?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't honestly say that the continued oppression doesn't play a role on how black people act in the community. And you got these thugs running around. These thugs were created.
What do you feel about
mentality was created?
What do you feel about like these black athletes that are super rich or black rappers like Lil Wayne and all these guys? Do you think that they give to charities? Are they helping out or are they causing more damage?
Lil Weezy, baby.
I mean, come on, man. Look, my daughter likes to listen to, what's her name? Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
So, I mean, but, yeah. So, but Nicki ain't talking about nothing. And I tell my daughter that. They all they do is degrade the people. They degrade, they don't have no respect for nobody. They and what they don't tell you is a lot of these rappers are college graduates, so they are educated on how to fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't really, Lil Wayne got a college degree. People don't know that. Lil Wayne got a college degree. And you know what? It's like they don't understand. And you buying these people's shoes and all of that, man, and they don't care nothing about you.
What about
the athletes?
What about the NBA recently with the Hawks? We had Donald Sterling, and they sold the team, but now, Atlanta Hawks now.
Oh, yeah. Well, he basically got to cash out on his racism.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling he did it on purpose to sell to make money.
Regardless, either way, either he's a racist or he wanted to make money. He won either way.
But hold on a second. How is it okay to say that Sterling was wrong when Spike Lee or somebody somebody says it just the reverse way?
Good way. Good point.
Well, but see, that's the thing. But then that comes down to reverse racism. I mean, has black people ever oppressed white people on an economic level? It's a yes or no. It's a yes. Yeah.
No,
so I mean, can black people can be prejudiced and bigots, but I don't hold to the fact that black people can be racist. Racist is synonymous with white supremacy. With
all right, let's get a little bit of insight. Let's let Scooter.
You know what I mean?
Let's let Scooter rebuttal a little bit and get his insight and his opinion.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
No, you're fine. You're passionate about it, man.
Yeah,
I get it. But I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I understand that you're saying the supremacy, the whole thing of it about, but it still doesn't make it right.
I agree.
Mean, if we're as a people and we're going to change, you and I have to get off that mindset that, I mean, history does repeat itself time and time again. But at the same time, we should look at each other. I mean, what's the saying? You should judge a man. I think it was Martin Luther King that said it. You should judge a man by his character, not his content. Yeah. I get what you're saying about the whole supremacy thing. But
all right, well, let me ask you this. Let's refer to the metaphor of the Matrix movie, where basically the Oracle told Neo that Mr. Smith was basically his opposite, trying to balance out the equation. So now you have white supremacy encompassing the world that is 9/10 colored people. All right, now stay with me, guys. 9/10 colored people. Okay, now maybe the Islamic threat and the African threat and the Ferguson threat, maybe all of these things are the opposites trying to fight against this one system. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe it's a reactionary thing. Maybe black folks are lashing out at white people because of all that's happened. Maybe it's beyond the point of rational thought. Maybe it's beyond. Maybe it's
anarchy.
Hey, but look. Maybe it's gotten to a point of retribution.
Okay, let him answer your question.
I don't feel that way. Look, I don't feel that way personally, brother. I don't think revenge or is not anywhere near a part of justice.
It's no way to solve anything.
Let's go to answer though.
Retribution is not a substitute for justice. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But let me ask you a question, man. You brought up a good point. You stated your facts, but in order to change the situation, we need to pull away from that mindset and open our hearts instead of our. I mean, I'm a first generation American citizen.
Okay, so who are you trying to convince, me or other white people? I mean, I understand what you're saying. And I feel the same way you do. But you don't have to convince me. You have to convince your fellow white brothers. That's who you got to convince, because they're not cooperating with you.
Hey, I want to touch on something really quick.
Let him answer real quick.
Okay, go for it, Scooter.
No, what I was going to say, though, is the majority of the people that I know that are white truly have a kind heart and are open to all races. And they maybe somewhere, I mean, I don't think that you can be a black person and not be racist towards white people. I don't think you could be a white person and be racist towards, or you might have a smidget of racism towards, whether it be Mexicans or Chinese or black people, and vice versa. Mexican people may feel a little, I mean, there is that there, but if you push that to the side and open up your heart and realize that people are kind, I mean, I know I'm getting on the whole emotion side.
No, brother, look, brother, I understand. And you know what? I can tell that you're good people. I understand that your people may be good people. But the people running this country, I mean, let's look at the border. Let's look at the border situation. You know what I mean? Really, you got borders against Mexican people who are indigenous to this land. They have been here before European colonization. But you're telling them they can't cross a border of land that already they're a part of. You understand? Now, this is the racist indignation coming from the power structures of America, the Republicans, whoever you want to use as the scapegoat, but they're all white people.
Hey, how do you feel about,
like, I understand that your people are good people, just like the white people I know are good people and would do anything for me, and I would do anything for them. But the people who are running things, they are the ones that are being racist.
Yeah, they're on a different level. I get what you're saying.
Them?
Hey, let me say this really quick, though. Hey, Marcus, I don't know if you heard about this one. There was an article recently where, I'm just going to read the headline. It says, Black teen beaten by black classmate for acting too much like a white person. Mexicans call those people coconuts. But we call those coconuts in our neighborhood. But
how can you act?
How stupid is that, right?
Come on.
Wow. But you know what? I laugh because I experience it on a daily basis. you know what? Racism bounces off of me to the point where I seek it out and I try to understand it, and I can psychologically break it down to the mentality of the racist person. You know what I mean? That's how I've transformed the racism that's been done to me. You know what I mean? I've been kicked out of bars because my clothes were too baggy. I've been, shuffled through the system like baggage. You know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
It really, I am no longer a victim. I've transcended these oppressions. You know what I mean? Because I've educated myself.
And you hit it on the head right there. I mean, you educated yourself,
Correct.
And you did not allow that oppression
Yes.
to back you in that corner to racism. And that's kind of what I was getting at there. I mean, we all have racism, whether we're male, female, gay, black, Mexican, whatever it may be. It's just, I think as a whole, if all of us just took a step back and had the approach like what you had, even the white people. I mean, I'm not saying that all white people are good. I mean, because God forbid the government, but it's just, I wish more people had the mindset like what you had. And but I do think, like I said, going back to the whole jamming it down people's throat that they're racism, not that you're doing that, but just using a layman's term. I mean, some people look at that and they take offense to it, and then that stirs up their own hate right there.
I understand. But what are exactly the rules to discussing racism and oppression? What are the rules? I mean, should black people be following some sort of rule? Were white people following any rules? You know what I mean? Like what? It's basically expression. I'm just expressing myself. I'm just telling you guys what I've learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about what about domestic violence? I mean, that happens across every religion, every race. I mean, there's certain things that it doesn't matter about race. Like there's alcoholics who are every type of religion, race, whatever. People addicted to drugs. There's bigger problems. I know racism is big, but I agree with both of you. Both of you make really good points. This has been an awesome podcast. I'm really enjoyed to hear you guys, man. Like this has been really great to have
Scooter
everybody
and
calling
Mark
in, man.
breaking shit down to a fucking decimal, man.
I love the passion because you remind me of myself. I speak very passionate sometimes. I've kind of calmed it down a little bit because I guess I scare people.
We'll get there.
I used to talk to people like they used to be like, "Yo, you crazy, Mike? You crazy? What you talking about? This ain't real chicken and this and that." And you know what? I was speaking a lot of this in 02, 03, and people were looking at me like I was crazy, But I think the housing market, when it exploded, 2008, when it just went to shit, is when people started seeing, the predatory loans, Bank of America, Countrywide. I mean, Wachovia was laundering money for Mexican drug cartels.
What's Wachovia?
Wachovia used to be a bank that got bought out by, I want to say, Wells Fargo. I want to say.
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan Chase. Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. I stand corrected. But
the mafia.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of problems going on, but I like discussing and being able to speak to open-minded people, and I just want to say thank you again for calling in and being here with us today with Lou and myself.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And you guys we're 2 hours deep. I'm going to stop a segment real quick because I could only record for an hour each time I record. I have to pause it. I have to stop it and re-record for another hour or whatever we're doing.
We could probably record another 24 hours.
But I want to say before, we got a minute.
Oh, dude, I can't.
No.
I got to go to work in I got to go to work in 2 hours, dude. I'm already pushing it.
Oh, shit. Hey, Marcus. Thank you for calling in, brother, and we're gonna stay on the line with Scooter. But thank you for calling. I know you got to get sleep, and you're always welcome to call and let us know how you feel, brother. And I really appreciate you calling in and really speaking your mind as passionately as you did.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Oh, I appreciate you guys, man. I love to do it again.
Till next time, brother. We're gonna do it next month. So you're first up to bat, brother.
All right, you guys be safe. Truth and honor.
All right, have a blessed night, man.
Later.
Peace.
Later.
All right, we're going to pause for a second. And,
okay.
Man, he got a lot of energy in him, man.
Man, I love this.
Sheesh.
I love this. This is what I love, man. Discussions.
Hold on. We're going to cut it right now. All right, stop. All right, hold on. And then we're going to...
We still on, though?
Yeah, no. We're going to be on right... All right, we back. Scooter, whoa, what were you thinking about Mark there? I mean, geez, the guy has so much energy, so much to say in so little time.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Sometimes when you're put in a corner, and obviously from how passionate he's speaking, he's been put in a corner. And, fighting your way out, sometimes you have to step on people's toes, and I think that's where he was at. But I'm sensitive to that fact.
Yeah,
Do you guys not agree?
I like his energy. I like his passion. I like what he's aiming for. Like he said, he knows you're cool peeps. He ain't judging you anymore because you're white, but he's talking about the people on the top. But when you use, like, I heard what you're saying, like when you use that whole word white, you know, the white people, it's like, dude, you're turning off a lot of people that are white. You gotta stick with the point of the people on top. Doesn't matter what color they are, because we do have Obama in the White House. We have to aim for them. We have to attack them, because we, as all of us, we're not looked at as color anymore. We're looked at as a class. You know, you're the lower class. You're the middle class. Fuck you. We're the first class, motherfucker. You know.
Yeah, but then again, like one point I want to make is that there's racism and prejudice within communities of the same race. You know, like Mexicans, for instance. Like myself, I was born over here in the United States. I'm a U.S. citizen, but in America, you know, they reference to me as a Mexican. But when I'm in Mexico, they call me an American. You know, they don't accept me as being a full type Mexican, which I find kind of funny. But you know, there's always
you say they though. That's like a couple of dudes that disrespected you. You know, like
well,
that's not all of them, is it?
But it was a majority of them. I mean, when you're coming into another place and people just, you know, you're like, oh yeah, you know, I'm Mexican. Like you don't even speak the language. You're not even from here. You weren't born here. Like people start judging you a certain way. Like,
but should that be all of them in Mexico who hate Americans? I mean, there are good peeps in there. You know.
No, well, I'm
very welcoming people in Mexico.
Yeah, and I've met a lot of awesome white people, a lot of awesome all types of people. I mean,
open your mind,
you know,
Mike.
Most white people they retire in Mexico, which I think is awesome. You know, like I like that, man. I like that a lot of people, you know, just trying to get along, man.
And yo, Scooter, thanks for keeping your composure, brother, because the dude was really passionate. But you know, there's some white dudes that are like defensive, man. They're like, yo, like, you know, you can't be hating on all of us and shit like that, you know. And I think Marcus, go ahead.
No, I'm just I deal with the public, so I know how to, you know, I deal with that every day. But you know, he's passionate, and I respect that. You know, I find it awesome. If more people were more passionate about things, maybe we'd be a lot farther than where we're at.
But
right
educated
now.
As well, because you say passionate, but look at the people in Ferguson, man. They're passionate, but they're losing the edge there because they're just so pissed off without knowing all the facts. And
well, true. I mean, but that's also what's in the news. See, I mean,
yeah. I've
seen reports where it's the reverse. And what I was getting at, you know, kind of with him was there was an instance where a black cop shot a white cop, and it never made.
I read about that. Yeah, I read about that.
I saw that.
And it you know, it's a bad thing.
It's funny because it never reaches the mainstream media, but yet the people on Facebook are reading it, so it is reaching us. Even though we're not mainstream people, we're still getting the information because mainstream sucks.
Yeah, it does. Well, let me, Mike, you were hitting on about the immigrants coming over. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I've never really. I mean,
me personally, I don't know. I mean,
we talked about this in the first show.
We talked about this a while. My problem is this: is why are they leaving in the first place? You know, obviously there's no jobs. You know, they're running away from being decapitated, kidnapped. I mean, this is happening south of the border. I mean, economically, Marcus hit it on the nail. You know, when he said manifest destiny. If you read that, I mean, it pretty much said America's being number one. Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America is not going to be able to be powerful or counter our power. So, I mean, it goes back to history. But as far as it goes, it's horrible in the sense where I'm a citizen and I can't get health care. But yet, if an illegal immigrant comes across the border, is pregnant, and has a baby in America, they're getting formula, they're getting all sorts of things, WIC. You know, so I mean, it's just, there's a lot of strain on taxpayer money. There's a lot of strain on prisons. I mean, there's a lot of people who are illegally here. They do some sort of crime and they go to prison. I'm not saying this is all the people. Don't get me wrong. There's a small percentage, but that's one of my beefs with illegal immigration. On the other hand, I don't know. It's kind of I'm for certain things and I'm for not certain things. I don't know, but it is a broken system. They definitely need to revamp it. I don't know. It's too complex. I really feel. What's your take on it?
You know, I mean, I get that they're coming here, but we're also a country of laws. I mean, even though I'm pretty anti-government, you know, I mean, I do think, like Lewis said, there's some systematic things that you have to have in place in order for this to work. I mean, like I said, I'm a first generation, United States citizen. My father was from Lithuania and stuff like that. But I mean, they did it legally. They had to go and apply and everything else and look at the benefits that I have now. And that's why I was kind of getting earlier. It's like this whole attitude that everybody has that something's owed to them.
Entitlement.
So, yeah, it's entitlement. I see it every day in my job, and it blows my mind. So
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and I mean, it affects a lot of things. I mean, personally, I'm against people that have been here and they're working, they're paying their taxes, they're trying to assimilate, trying to learn the language. I'm all for that. I'm not against. I'm against when they try to deport the parents or the kids and separate families. I think what we need to focus on more is criminals. I think we need to stop spending so much money overseas. I think we need to take care of the homelessness problems here in America. We need to revamp illegal immigration. I read articles every day. We're next to a border in San Clemente. There's a border stop. They just stopped recently. In the last week, they've recovered 36 tons of cocaine. Who knows how much money, and then the whole thing in Los Angeles in the fashion district with the money laundering of the Mexican cartels. This is deep. That means there's corruption in America as well. They just disguise it better, is the way I feel. But I truly feel like, what do you think about Obama, though? Obama said he was going to do, he was going to act on illegal immigration, but now he's waiting till after November. Is that convenient?
Yeah. Well, and the only reason why he's doing that is because of the election. But if his lips are moving, he's lying. That's the way I kind of look at it. I don't believe anything out of any politician's mouth. I have to sit back and wonder to myself because, like I was getting about the little snippets of giving it to people because if you jam it down their throat, they don't understand it.
Correct.
Like
yeah.
I was talking. My wife sometimes hates when I bring up politics, and I'm starting to notice now that with Obama, he promised us all these things, and I when he first spoke, I was impressed.
Yeah,
I really was. But as he's systematically trying to take down everything that we kind of stand for, it really irks me. I'm a big proprietor in the Second Amendment. I think everybody should have a gun. I think the first day, I should say the first day you go to school, I think when you graduate, your present should be a handgun. But at the same time, I grew up, kind of in the farm life where, we had guns all around the house and nobody ever questioned it. Anymore now, somebody sees a gun, they flip out, and it just blows my mind.
How do you feel about I believe it was New York, where a gun shop was approached by the police department stating that he needed to release records of his customers?
Yeah, whose right is it? I get the fact that we have, once again, evil people. The Constitution doesn't say anything about, making everybody feel happy and go lucky and safe about things. No, the law is the law, and with them trying to ask for the information, they're just looking for further down the line to bend it and use it against them so that they can go after them. And it's wrong. I disagree with it. So, what are your guys' feelings on guns? I know I kind of talked to you.
I think it's great. I think we should have the right to own it. Most countries that don't, they have dictatorships in place. A lot of the Middle East, a lot of even Mexico. Actually, I want to touch on something goes hand in hand with a Marine who was actually going down in San Diego. I don't know if you've ever been in this part of California, but there's a last exit.
I've been to Ramona.
Okay. Well, on the way to the border, there's a final exit in San Ysidro. This is an American Marine crosses into Mexico. Supposedly, he said it was a mistake, but he's going in there with 500 rounds of ammunition. He has a shotgun, rifle, and a handgun, and he's actually being held in jail in Tijuana at the moment, and he's trying to get released. But something that people don't understand is that guns and ammunition is illegal in Mexico. They don't have the right to bear arms. I think it's very important to be able to bear arms. The whole thing of it, of the Constitution, is to be able to form militias to pretty much keep the government in check. If you look at the founding fathers, they pretty much, they were a militia. I mean, I've seen certain YouTube videos where Homeland Security or certain officers refer to the founding fathers as terrorists.
Word.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
I think it's such a surprise when I'm at work and I'm talking to dudes and I bring up, the Second Amendment. And there's always a dude that's like, he blows my mind because I'm very open-minded to understanding things. And when we give anyone a weapon to actually use and the responsibility of having one, shit, I know people that can't even keep their shirts clean. They fucking spill shit all over their shirts. Like, we're going to trust this person with a gun, people that get shot, firearms that go off on accident, the damage these things cause, and not to mention the hospital bills and who's going to pay them and things like that. It's such a deep issue of who should be able to have one and who should not be able to have one. I personally think, you have to earn it. I think it's like a license. Not to say that you're not supposed to have it, that the government says, no, we're going to put these laws in. But I think you need to be trained. Everyone in high school should be trained to carry a firearm and earn a permit like they do a driver's license. I think responsibility is number one, and safety, because if we cannot control ourselves, thanks to music, thanks to the manipulations on television to teach us to be idiots like Jackass the movie, we're going to be as dumb as they make us. So I think we need to get rid of the media first before we can start building, and it sucks.
I mean, well, don't you think that the internet is playing a big role in the whole TV premise? Because, I mean, my daughter, she hardly ever watches TV. She's on social media, she's on Twitter, she's on doing stuff like that. When I was a kid, I was right when the TV turned on in the morning.
Yeah, but
I watched it from morning to night.
Yeah, but you had Sesame Street back then. You had I Love Lucy, things that were positive. Now you got
Family Guy.
You got soft pornography on television.
Pretty
it's
much
insane.
We were touching on censorship on the last show. Where nowadays, I mean, they say cuss words on the radio, they're saying them on TV shows, and this is at times that aren't appropriate. There's little children, and I always touch on the parents. They're at work, and who raises the kids? It's the TVs. And you're right, nowadays you don't even need a television because of these things right here. Your cell phones, you pretty much are directly linked up to the internet. You have YouTube.
I think it always bounces back to the parents, and it sucks because those, like you were saying earlier, kids raising kids.
Yeah.
If we actually took the time to teach our children and actually, because they're going to be tempted to watch these shows, these perverted shows, they're going to be tempted to listen to this perverted music. But as long as we keep an eye on them and monitor them and know that you better respect what I'm saying because I care about you, we can teach them to be doctors and lawyers and all the things that we need in this country. However, TV and media has become such a diluted, ugly, perverted, bastardized thing that nobody should be watching. TMZ, I just go in the break room at work and I'm looking up and I'm seeing the stupidest shit ever, and I go, this is at work we're talking about. Like, this is some shit you should be watching on your own in your own time, and we're watching this on our breaks. Like, how badly do they have us wrapped around their finger?
Well, it's amazing. They did a more or less like a census of how many TVs they have in their house. And for a family of 3, they have 5 TVs. I think I read that on. I can't remember what it was, but I was reading the article. And
TV in the restroom, TV in the garage, TV in the.
Yeah, you know what? I actually did a paper in college, for a speech, and I did some research at the time. And I mean, this was probably 2003, 2004. So I don't know what the statistics are now, but yeah, more people had televisions than indoor plumbing in their home in America.
Nice. You can't take a shit. You can watch
it's just crazy. And another thing is that a lot of people don't understand is that most Americans have have an outlet to the internet. The rest of the world really doesn't. And I think the United States has the most internet users. And somebody was arguing with me when I put a post up. They were saying like, yeah, people just go on the internet and they learn things. I think people go on the internet and they start doing stupid shit like taking selfies. You got these kids doing putting nail polish on themselves, lighting themselves on fire, putting on, I don't know, it's crazy.
Everyone wants to be a celebrity.
Everybody wants. And what is a celebrity? These days, we talked about it last time as well. A celebrity these days, it seems like you have to have a sex tape. I don't know what else are the qualifications these days.
It depends on the viewer's perspective. Like, you know, I grew to a certain age now where I'm like, dude, fuck TV. I can watch YouTube and laugh my ass off watching dudes fart on people.
I just hate the advertisements though.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But Scooter, you're a down to earth dude, and I really appreciate you here, man, and being able to talk to
No
you.
worries.
Because we've been Facebook pals.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, the night that I did that, I remember texting me because I felt, at one part I felt like the biggest jackass holding my phone up as it was playing, but another part of me was like, I'm tired of hearing this shit. I mean, something's got to change, and, you know, I think this is a great avenue that you guys are taking, and I've even thought about, even around here, what I can do. What I do is, like I said, I take little snippets and talk to people.
That's what we're here for,
man.
bro.
Thanks.
We're here to inspire. We're here to motivate people to do the same. It sucks that we got, you know, these cholos around our neighborhood who want to copy our style but use it for bad. The whole mentality of what we're doing is so that people can be encouraged to fight back and to have some guts to stand up for what they believe in a positive way.
And to be able to say it without any fear, you know, I'm a big outspoken person. I've always been like that. I really feel like this is a great avenue because I'm not taking any violent measures. I'm meeting new people across this awesome technology. Somebody I've never met physically, but yet through Facebook, you know, you're getting all these people who think alike, which is awesome. And that's good. You know, it pretty much goes with this is my best advice. Think globally, act locally, you know.
Word.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And Scooter, you yourself, man, just you calling in is motivating us, and we're motivating you. And like I said, I can teach you the technology you want to learn. I'll teach you, bro. You're one of the top dudes on my list that I have a lot of respect for, and you're always welcome to come on the show, man.
No, awesome. Well, I'm going to call it tonight, guys. It's been great talking to you, and I look forward to talking to you again. And thank you very much.
All right, thanks for being on the show, Scooter. Pleasure to meet you.
All right, we'll talk with you guys later.
Take care, bro. Later.
Good night.
All right,
Peace.
bye-bye.
What a cool dude.
Yeah, man, it was a great podcast today. A lot of passion, a lot of good facts, and I love it. You know, I love that we could come on here and just, you know, express ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Express yourself, man. Hey, I want to do a little bit.